Hey, everybody.
Hi, guys. Well, from Salt Lake City, Utah,
It's Thank God I'm Atheist.
the podcast.
I'm Frank.
And I'm Dan.
Coming up today, well, there's been a death.
There's been a tragic death.
A horrible, tragic death.
We're very, very broken up inside. So we'll just have to process that with you guys.
Yeah, and, it's Fred Phelps, people. He's dead.
He's deed.
He's dead. It's official.
Yeah.
And so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about reactions to and
Our reactions to.
reaction to. We're not going to talk too much about him. Beyond just clarifying who he is and what horrible things he did, and then we'll
And what wonderful things he did.
he was a dear man.
What a good man.
And you could just see it on his face.
You could.
His face was the face of a good man.
It was the face of a good man with some sort of pox. Maybe a bit of a pox.
A pox.
I don't know. One of the pictures of him, he's got maybe he has rosacea. Old man rosacea or
don't
something.
make fun of rosacea.
I would never.
That's a horrible affliction.
My wife has rosacea.
I know.
It's not a horrible affliction.
She has it under control. When it's not under control, it's
She has zits.
horrible. It's an
Red
affliction of biblical proportions.
And lo. and Moses did look out upon his people, and the Lord had smote them with the rosacea. And he did cry out unto the Lord, why?
Well, Job.
Why
right?
is everyone so pink-cheeked?
Job
had rosacea?
Yeah, it was one of the
That
things.
was one of the things?
Yeah. He had boils all over his body, and he had terrible rosacea.
And he had to eat food that was like kind of not his favorite a lot of the time.
Terrible
He's
affliction.
like, tabbouleh again? Really? Okay. I guess I have to.
All right.
It's my lot in life, I guess. The Lord is testing me.
Yeah.
Oh, ladies and
Dear
gentlemen.
me. That was a tiny little bit of
Reese's
peanut butter cup.
that just got lodged in something.
I could just feel it just scratching the back of my throat.
Oh, dear.
I'm terribly
dear.
sorry, everybody. I will avoid Reese's in the future.
Be
before the
healed.
show.
Be healed. I faith heal you of
Well,
Reese's.
We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, exactly.
Dan.
The Salvation Army. I'm going to do the Salvation Army.
Yeah.
You've heard of them.
I know.
The Salvos, the Sally Ann.
Yeah.
They have settled a lawsuit.
Oh, dear me.
Yeah.
What?
Well, this particular lawsuit was brought on behalf of 19 people and former employees.
Oh.
Actually, at that time, current and former employees. Want to guess how long ago this thing was filed?
How long ago?
2004.
Oh, wow. The judicial system is... The courts are speedy.
Well, I'm guessing what happened was that the Sally Ann was just trying to bury these guys in as much paperwork and just drag it on for as long as they could.
That's what you do. If you can.
If you're the one with the money,
yep,
then that's what you do.
Right.
So it's been dragging on and dragging on. Finally, there's been a settlement for two of the plaintiffs. Two of the 19 plaintiffs.
Okay.
They've agreed to pay $450,000 in damages and attorney's fees.
Wait, so what were these people claiming happened? I mean,
They were being fired or else being required illegally to acknowledge that the group's mission was to provide services consistent with the gospel of Jesus Christ.
oh,
They felt that they were being forced to declare that their religion aligned with that of their employer.
well, were they working at a thrift shop, or were they working at the headquarters of the Salvation Army?
I think it's at the thrift shop. I think you're absolutely right about that.
Okay, all right, yeah, that's inappropriate.
Yeah. Oh, and these, by the way, were government-funded programs. Apparently, there were.
Oh, right, because they have probably an employment,
right,
type thing.
Yeah.
Right?
So in a government-funded
work program,
work program, you can't make people love Jesus.
Not allowed.
Not allowed.
So
no.
Okay.
So there was a suit,
all right.
And of the 19 people suing, it was the NYCLU, the New York City or the New York Civil Liberties Union that brought the discrimination suit. And on behalf of 19 people, 2 people apparently got a payout.
Oh, I bet those other 17
a decade later.
Well, good. They got something. That's important.
Yeah, I guess so.
They need to be held accountable.
Yeah, they do. They need to. They do need to be held accountable.
Religious groups shouldn't feel free to go nutty this way.
Right. The fact that it was drawn out this long just makes my eyes roll back in my head because, God, I'm guessing they were just being such douchebags about it.
That's possible.
Just trying to make it go away, not acknowledging anything.
Well, they probably weren't. Their lawyers were.
Their lawyers are they. They are, they are the representations of them.
Right, yeah.
Anyway.
Okay, well, I would like to go to Louisiana.
Ooh, so would I.
For the story of,
But you're just going to do a story,
I'm just going to do a story.
We're not actually going
to Louisiana.
Okay.
A man in Shreveport. We've been to Shreveport.
You and I went to Shreveport.
We've been through Shreveport.
A little less than a year ago.
Yeah.
Little less than a year ago. Right. Sorry. Time was tricking me for a second.
When did we go on the trip?
It was like May.
Right, so a little less.
Yeah.
You're right. A man in Shreveport has an idea about how states have they'll have a state song and a state a state flower and a state tree maybe.
Do you know what Utah's state song is?
I don't.
Utah, we love thee.
How does it go?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. I know how the Oklahoma one goes.
Well, everybody knows how the Oklahoma one goes. The Georgia one's good, too. The Georgia one's the best one.
What is it?
It's Georgia on My Mind.
Oh,
It's the Ray Charles song.
Wow. They did a good job.
Yeah.
That. Well, so actually, Louisiana state tree, the bald cypress.
Oh, nice.
Their state flower, the magnolia.
Of course. Sure.
The state reptile.
Gator.
The alligator, yeah, very good. But they don't yet have a state book. And this man in Shreveport he has a suggestion.
Wait.
Of a state book.
Now I'm just going to spitball here. I'm going to guess that it's not. Because what they should, of course, do is go by some Southern writer based there. Maybe an Anne Rice novel.
Oh, lovely.
Sure. Yeah. She's
one of her books is the state book.
Right? Yeah. Interview with a Vampire is the state book of. It did very, very well. It's based in New Orleans. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm gonna guess that that's not where they went.
No, that's not where.
Matter of fact, I'll bet I can guess what it is.
I think you probably can.
Is it the Bible?
It is the Bible. Yep.
Oh.
Yeah. So yeah, he. This is Representative Thomas Carmody. He has filed House Bill 503. This is going forward this session.
Okay.
It would make a specific Bible, so not the Bible.
Oh, okay.
It's like a generic concept, but a specific Bible. In fact, the oldest one owned by the state to become the official state book.
How does the state gain ownership of Bibles?
Oh, who knows? Who knows?
Apparently, in the archive somewhere,
yeah,
there's a Bible. So it's not like this is physical book. We're not talking about a book meaning like a title.
No,
we're talking about like this
book.
Let's dust this thing off, and it's now the
official
book.
State book. I mean. Then at least, if nothing else, I mean, I'm not trying to justify this at all, but at least there potentially could be like some history behind it. Like if this is the oldest Bible, well, whose Bible was it, and how did it get here? And like at least there's something to it in some way, a connection to the state's history in some way. I don't think they should have a state Bible.
Yeah, I think they're kind of inviting the f to come and somebody's going to write a letter.
Apparently, and I just noticed this in the article, but it looks like the Alabama has the Bible, has a Bible as its state book.
Yeah, sure. Well, see, that's the problem right there. You don't want the same state book as your next door neighbor. Everybody needs a different. I mean, I guess it's a different Bible.
Yeah.
So,
well, they're not right next door. There's Mississippi in the way.
Yeah. Okay.
But nonetheless,
fine.
Just
geography whiz. Who the hell cares? It's true. We did drive through it. You'd think I would remember.
There was a sequence of events that got us to Alabama.
It all just blurs together. Yes, Jackson
did
Mississippi
happen before anything in Alabama.
Right. Yeah. Well,
so,
there
just
you go.
Throw that out there.
Yeah.
But that's neither really here nor there. They should not want one that another state already has.
Right.
If you know of a state that already has the magnolia as its state flower, you wouldn't go out and, hey, we should have the magnolia too.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Right? You want unique.
Something unique.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of a state anything.
For instance, in Utah, the state bird is the California seagull.
Yes.
Makes total sense.
Although
they just changed our tree.
What did they change?
Did you know that?
Oh, they changed it from the Colorado something or other.
It was the Colorado blue spruce.
Right.
But I don't know what they changed it to. I just remember that they changed our state tree.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The seagull I get because
we've got a thing.
The damned birds are everywhere. And there's like this old like story of like the seagulls saving the crops and crap from crickets.
Right. So that's a thing. Also, the new tree is the aspen.
I was thinking that's lovely.
Yeah. Well, the Senate voted to change it. I think it's still in the works. I think we're still spruced up for now.
But there are a lot of aspen in this state, so that would, and they're a lovely tree.
Oh, it's a beautiful tree. It's a beautiful tree. Those quaking leaves.
Yeah, it's amazing.
They turn that bright yellow in the fall. That's so pretty.
The largest living entity. Organism. Yeah. Because on the planet. Wasn't it? It was here, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Up in one of our mountains?
Yeah, I think we've got the largest living organism on the planet.
Yeah.
There may be a slime mold, I think, that actually that's rivaling it or something. But technically, a grove of aspen, what looks like many trees, is technically a tree.
One organism. Yeah. They share their root system.
Right. It's
it's one root system.
That's right.
It's a network of root.
Okay. We get it.
They're
all right. Yeah, so there you go.
So yeah, Louisiana in the Bible.
Do we have a state book?
I have no clue.
It would be the Book of Mormon. That's a no-brainer. That's an easy one.
Do we?
I don't know. One? I don't know. You should look that up.
I'm going to right now.
There you go. I looked up the state tree. You look up the state book.
Okay.
Do we have one? Google.
I looked for Utah State book and it didn't.
Yeah, I don't think we do. I feel like I would be aware of it if we had a. Maybe it's just a an atlas of Utah. That's what it should be. That's
a good book. To have as your state book.
Yeah, or something. Anyway, No Man Knows My History. How about that for our state book? No. Okay, so I'm going to move us to Dateline, Seattle.
Okay.
Mega church pastor Mark Driscoll. We've talked about him before. He has Mars Hill Church.
Yeah.
He's a firebrand.
Ooh,
that one.
Indeed.
He's gained a lot of notoriety over the years. Not none of it, or not a small amount of it, coming from his New York Times best-selling book.
Oh.
Which he co-penned with his wife Grace. Called Real Marriage.
Oh, that sounds nice.
Right. Well, so there are a couple problems with that.
Are they not really married?
They're really married. He plagiarized some of the material in the book. He was caught out on that.
Oh no.
And then
from whom?
Let me find that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So Yeah. And it was, yeah. Anyway, yes, he has some citation errors and, yeah, meaning he didn't cite the people that he was plagiarizing. Anywho.
So it wasn't just like he used like MLA instead of Chicago.
Right. No, that's not what we're talking about. If there had been the footnote there, I think we could have forgiven stylistic issues.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, so that was a bit of a controversy. The new controversy is that he's used a firm to buy copies of the book to rocket it onto the New York Times.
What the
list.
fuck?
Apparently, that's a thing. Apparently, you can do this, and it works.
And then more people buy it.
And then more
because
people
it's
buy
on the
it.
list. It must have been a really good book.
Right. If it's a New York Times bestseller, it must be good. And everybody starts buying it.
Oh, I hate shit
And
like
then I'm
that.
guessing this firm probably returns the books.
To Barnes & Noble.
Right. I'm sorry. I'd like to return 2,200 copies of this book. Please.
Do you have the receipt?
Yes, I do.
Okay, good, because otherwise it would have to be an exchange.
Can I get store credit for that? I want I don't even want the cash. I just want store credit. Because I'm part of a firm that buys these up, that does this regularly.
Coffee. You could trade the credit in for coffee. You know,
that's a lot of good coffee. That'll last you.
That's hanging out at Barnes & Noble a little too much for me, though.
Yeah. Driscoll also, so he has apologized for all of this, for using this marketing strategy. He said, "I'm sorry that I used this strategy and will never use it again. I have also asked my publisher not to use the #1 New York Times bestseller status in future publications. And I'm working to remove this from past publications as well."
Oh, okay.
There is nothing like getting caught to teach you remorse.
Well, that's what you regret.
Right. Although, frankly, I'm going to give him props just for that. Like, he's
Coming
actually
out and saying in the future we won't,
saying I'm sorry and saying and taking actual action that looks like he's showing remorse, rather than just like, oops, it's on all the books now. I can't really take off that #1 New York Times bestseller thing, but I am really sorry. If he's actually trying to do it, and who knows if he's actually trying to do it.
Well, what he needs to do is he needs to hire a firm to buy up all the books that say that
and erase it,
and then replace them or cover them with a sticker.
Put a sticker right on there. Exactly.
Or just like a little. It could just be like a red circle with a line through it.
The same firm goes back into the store. Hey, I need to buy those books again.
You know the one. Do you still have all those books I returned?
Did you reshelve those, or what did you do? Are they still in a box? That would be that'd be convenient. I just need to buy them again.
Yeah. Oh well.
He also apologized to his church for lacking humility. But
he is such a good little apologizer.
But I'll tell you what, he says he's gotten in enough trouble that he's backing off of the social media for a while.
Really?
Yeah. He's untwittering and everything.
Wow.
So, yeah. He
reverse Twitter?
Yes, exactly. He says, "My angry young prophet days are over." He's got to quote reset his life. He says social media, he says the distractions it can cause for my family and our church are not fruitful or helpful at this time.
Wow. Okay.
Meaning a bunch of people are tweeting just mean ass shit at him and he can't handle it.
Yeah. Yeah. But what is that? That's an interesting thing to do as a public figure, to back off of social media.
Yeah. It goes against the conventional wisdom anyway.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Just like we do.
Tweet his apologies.
We go against the conventional wisdom in that we don't tweet when we really, really should be.
Here's the problem with Twitter. Still to this day, I have tried. Okay, this is not like somebody who I'm not some Luddite who, just can't deal with it, right? I have tried to be on Twitter. I don't get it.
Me neither.
I just for the
Are we
life
too
of
old?
Me,
what
don't
happened?
Get it. I just don't think my mind works that way.
Yeah.
I don't get what the thrill is.
And how do you? And then you're supposed to sit there for hours and look through everybody else's tweets and stuff.
That sounds awful.
Why would I do that?
No. No.
So sorry, we don't tweet at you. We do the Facebook thing. Well, Mackenzie does the Facebook thing.
Yeah, there's a reason why we don't do it. Because again, it's kind of this.
But we want to connect with you guys.
We do want to connect, and I like that. And I like that because of how much work Mackenzie puts into it. It now, I mean, it's this vibrant little community,
it's
right?
Pulsing.
And I get on there, and I now do comment on stuff, and I do respond to people, and
I'm on Facebook. Like I go to Facebook.
Yeah,
I don't ever go to Twitter.
Yeah, no, I don't really do a lot of Facebooking in my life, but I'm really trying to get onto the TGIA one.
Okay,
because I think that it's important.
Yeah, we're there for you.
Yeah,
in the ways that we are. And in the ways that we're not, just
email us or leave us a voice.
Yeah.
Because we get that.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so there you go. Mark Driscoll in a little bit of a thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I have my next story is about there's this thing in Mormonism right now where and I'm wondering if this story is actually kind of a response to, actually. But anyways, so recently, I'm just going to say what they've done. The Mormons put up a bunch, they actually put up pictures of the female leadership of the church, right?
Right.
In the conference center, okay, which is their big mega knackle thing. And they historically always had photos of all the men who were leaders of the church. So the first presidency, and the members of the Quorum of the 12, and so forth and so on.
There's a whole hierarchy and infrastructure, and of course the hierarchy does not include girls. No girls allowed.
No.
It says so on the door.
Right. And so the leadership of the Relief Society. It's three women.
That's the women's
auxiliary. The primary, which is Sunday school for children,
which is traditionally run by a woman,
and young women's, which is Sunday school for teenage girls.
Right.
And also those are the three auxiliaries of the LDS Church that are run by women. And so anyways,
who are all, by the way, completely under the thumb of the men.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Men say jump, they say how high.
They don't really run. I mean, they run them, but they don't.
They run it.
They administrate them.
Yes.
But anywho, so it's kind of there. Oh, hey, this is a first. We're putting up pictures of the women who run the auxiliaries.
Among the pictures of the men.
And all it really does for me is show just how segregated the leadership of the LDS Church is.
Yeah.
Like it just, like, you know it, right? And there's not a Mormon who thinks that there's like this integrated leadership.
Right.
But there was a strange thing, like when you didn't have any photos of women up, right? You didn't necessarily think of how segregated out into their own little corner they are.
Right.
Right? Because there's this whole like priesthood thing. And well, of course the leadership of the church it's all men. Of course it is.
Priesthood holders.
You know? But then, here's what we give the women. And boy, anyways.
I saw the photo of all of these new big portraits, big photos that are up hanging. And what's funny is that you see so all of the photos in that picture are of three people.
Right.
There are the photos of the different groups of the first presidency, which is the prophet, the president of the church, and his two counselors.
Right.
So you see those three, and you see several pictures of different ones there. Uh-huh. And so it's just three men in black suits, three men in black suits, three men in black suits, women in colors!
And bright colors.
Like Easter colors!
Yeah.
Men in black suits, men in black suits, men in black suits.
Yeah. Yeah, no, these women are always dressed for Easter.
Oh, my God.
Except they don't have hats on.
They don't. Well, they don't.
Mormon women don't wear hats.
In general, no. Although Andrea's sister loves to wear hats on Easter.
Oh, really?
She wears them. She even wears them to church, which is weird.
But allowed.
For a Mormon. It's allowed, but it's weird.
It is weird.
Every Mormon...
People will take note.
They'll be like, what the fuck is that? It's a hat.
Is she allowed to
Is she allowed to do that? Bishop.
Is she allowed to wear a hat?
Can she wear a hat?
Is she bishop will be like, well, yes, she can.
Well, yeah, it's technically within the rules. There should be a wear a hat to church day, because the Mormon feminists, and that's what this is a reaction to. Your story is is the church responding to all of this pressure from Mormon feminists
who want more space and visibility and whatnot, but they're not asking for this.
No. This
is a bone that's being thrown them that was not requested.
Right. This is as weak sauce a response as they could possibly have summoned up. Anyway, so they do their wear pants to church day as their sort of little protest or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is allowed.
Yeah.
But uncommon among Mormon women.
Uh-huh.
I think they should do a wear hats to church day, not because they're protesting anything, just because it's weird. There should be just weird Mormons unite. I don't think men. I don't think
weird.
I don't think men can wear hats, but
the men cannot wear hats to church, and I know that for a fact. Here's the deal: I didn't grow up in Utah, right, as a Mormon,
right.
So like, I do know the church in a slightly different setting, and so the whole wearing hats on Easter Sunday, I just could predict that it wouldn't be common in Utah because I know Utahns well enough,
right.
It happened a lot in the wards that we were in.
Sure. In the South, especially. I imagine lots of hats. Yep. Anyway, there you go. Pretty colors now adorning the walls.
Yeah.
On the women.
Yeah.
I'm going to the Empire State Building. It's one of the most famous buildings in the world, situated in lovely Manhattan.
Beautiful.
I'll be there soon.
Yeah.
Going to New York. I don't know if I'll go to Empire State, but
I
went last time. It was really fun. It's actually
fun.
this great view, and there's birds.
And you get to stand in line for a really long time.
Not if you go at 2 a.m.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it was like midnight.
It's open?
I think they're open till 2.
No way.
We went at midnight. There wasn't a single. We had to walk through the stanchions and all of the lines.
Right.
So we mazed our way around.
Yeah,
but went straight to the ticket taker and then through another maze straight to the elevators.
Yeah.
And then.
And when I went up it was a very, very, very cold day in February.
Uh-huh.
And there wasn't much.
Right. See,
but I do remember the stanchions.
You just gotta strategize there.
It was awful.
Anyway, I'll tell you who it was awful for. Amina and Fahad Termizi.
Oh,
a Muslim couple from Long Island.
Oh,
they're suing.
And why?
For $5 million.
Okay, what happened?
They got kicked out.
Why?
Praying.
They prayed?
They went into their evening prayer. They claim that they sort of tried to find a little tucked away place, them and their children, and they prayed.
Oh.
And they were kicked out, summarily dismissed.
I think they should have scheduled it better.
It does. Here's the thing.
I don't really have a problem with Muslims and their prayers, and I get that,
Yeah, they got to do it 5 times a day and whatever.
What? So
they claim to have been, quote, menacingly poked.
But wait, what? Okay, so they were praying, and that's why they were kicked out. Did they say anything else as to why they chose to kick out some praying Muslims?
No, there's very little word on that other than
speculation as to why they did. Because I can imagine why you would be uncomfortable with Muslims praying on top of a tall building in New York City.
Right? I mean, I don't want to be... I mean, I want to create space for everyone to be able to sort of do whatever, but I can see why New Yorkers might get a little antsy on top of a tall building when it comes to Muslim prayer. No,
and this is not to conflate all Muslims with the terrorists on 9/11.
It's not right.
It's totally
just
wrong thinking.
There. It's just, you got to think about these things a little bit. Because I mean, and they had, I think their kids were there. So, I mean, I would look at that and I would be like, okay, it's fine.
It's fine.
But
maybe
still,
watch them closely.
I mean, it's not like they weren't already being watched closely. I mean, any Muslim will tell you.
Yeah, that's true. But okay, here's the deal. I think our reaction might be a little wrong.
Of course it's wrong.
Because I mean, you don't blame the bullied, right?
Yeah.
When somebody you have to put blame in the right place, and
Sure.
it was.
I don't know enough about the law to know if they were being if this was an illegal thing.
That's the weird
them being
thing.
kicked
I mean,
out.
it's private property.
Sure. They claim that they were assaulted, battered, and forcibly removed. Although, like, menacing poking, it doesn't sound too horrible. I mean, but
a poke can hurt.
Ow! $5 million, please. They were also embarrassed because they were carted off sort of in front of all of the other people.
It's
and
bad
stuff.
form all around.
Frankly, they should have been embarrassed for praying in public.
Yeah, like
That's a private thing.
it's a private thing. It always, whenever I see people like in a restaurant praying over their meal.
Yeah, that's private.
It's weird.
Yeah, that's a weird thing to do, and stop it.
It's public.
Right.
Like, even my super religious parents were always like, yeah, we don't pray
At the restaurant.
At the restaurant.
Right, you don't pray at the restaurant.
You don't bless your food at the restaurant.
We all know that. That's not for there.
No.
You leave it at home.
You repent later.
Right.
Did
your parents feel like they had to repent for not?
No.
It's totally fine. Here's the thing. That's the real issue here, is that how obnoxious were they being to pray on top of the Empire State Building?
I think it's obnoxious, but I think I think that clearly the people who kicked them out needed to be more sensitive to what was going on.
Because the level of other obnoxious behaviors on the top of the state building, the Empire State, there's just lots of obnoxious behavior up on the top of the Empire State Building.
That's true. It is kind of...
It's a magnet for obnoxious behavior.
Yeah.
So it's not... So I don't...
That's
I don't
a good
know.
point, actually.
I think,
how do you parse out what is...
I think it's in bad taste for them to have done it.
Yeah.
But I don't know that they didn't have the right to be there.
I think that both parties are at fault.
Right.
Here.
Yeah.
On some level.
You know what? If you got to do it, and it's right now, it's got to be now,
well,
go into the bathroom, find the stall that's facing Mecca, and just do it there.
They're too weird about poo. They never would do that, Dan. They're totally weird about poo in bathrooms.
Yeah, well.
They have to say prayers to, like, forgiveness after they poo. So
well, yeah.
That's, or, yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
I can't remember exactly what it is. All right. Yeah. Oof. That one makes me feel icky.
It's weird.
Makes me feel icky because I feel like as a society we need to create those spaces.
Right.
And I feel like, but I would be really uncomfortable seeing anybody start praying at the top of the Empire State Building.
Yeah, and for any reason.
And,
if it was a group of Christian
is,
kids that were all praying, if it was anybody, I would just be like,
if they have a rule that nobody can pray at the top of the building, right?
I doubt they have that rule.
I bet they do now.
Well, maybe.
I bet they have a rule that nobody can pray.
Or
no
maybe
public prayers.
Or maybe they have a rule that
offered.
it's okay for everybody.
Or maybe they have a rule now.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Do you want to know
they have a prayer rule.
You want to know who weighed in on this? That Bill Donahue, that Catholic League guy.
What did he say?
He made it about himself.
Did he pray at the top of the world?
No, he said
building?
On August 26, 2010, I led a rally of over 3,000 people in the streets across from the Empire State Building to protest Anthony Malkin, he's the principal owner, refusal to light the towers blue and white on the 100th anniversary of Mother Teresa's birthday.
Well, Mother Teresa was a bitch.
Well, according to Donahue, he says he had no problem honoring the anniversary of the communist Chinese government, even though Mao and his minions murdered blah, blah, blah. Anyway, what's great is that this is about him. So then in the end he says, Muslims who pray in public, including in public accommodations, are simply exercising their constitutional right. In play are two First Amendment rights, freedom of speech and freedom of religion. We hope that Hines investigates the extent to which security guards are expected to censor religious speech. We wish him and this innocent Muslim couple well. An interesting show of solidarity because it's somehow about him. Still mad.
All right.
From 2010.
All right. Well, I have a quiz for you, Dan. Or actually, it's a game. We're going to play. It's not really a quiz. We're going to play a little game.
You love games and quizzes.
I do. They're fun.
Okay, here we go.
So I found this on KingJamesBibleOnline.org.
Oh.
And it is a page that they have. The title of the page is Scientific Proof of the Bible.
Oh.
And it says that, it points out that the Bible was written probably between like 1450 BC, according to them, and 95 AD.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the span of time when all these writings happened and they were pulled together to make the Bible.
Sure.
So what they've done is they have 3 columns on this page.
Mm-hmm.
There's scientific fact or principle, right? And then there's like list of all these different scientific facts or principles.
Sure.
And then there's a column that is the date of discovery by man.
Oh, yes.
Right.
By science.
By science, yes. The scientific discovery of this scientific principle or fact.
Sure.
And then they give a Bible reference where the scientific fact or principle was sort of spelled out in the Bible back in that time frame. Predating any of
all of this stuff, because the Bible is that amazing.
Right. The very, very, very first, the earliest date of discovery by man is in the 15th century.
Okay, so this is all...
I mean, these Bibles, the writers of the Bible had it figured out way back
centuries,
when, right?
Centuries ahead.
So what we're going to do is I'm going to read the Bible verse.
Okay.
And then I want you to come up with if you can,
with what scientific principle?
What scientific principle or fact was clearly demonstrated in that verse.
As we all know, I am a brilliant scientist, so this should be easy for me.
Job 38:7.
Oh, dear.
When the morning stars sang together and all the sons of God shouted for joy.
This proves that they knew that the sun is one of the stars.
No, it proves that stars give off radio signals.
They sing!
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God. Why didn't I think of that?
I know.
Why didn't I think of that?
I know, right?
I would just have been impressed that if they knew that the sun was a star.
Nah.
That would have been impressive to me.
Yeah. No,
I was giving them more credit than they deserved. Okay, let's try it again.
Okay, Job 38:16.
Wow, Job's a good one.
Yeah. Hast thou entered into the springs of the sea, or hast thou walked in the search of the depth?
This proves the knowledge of oceanic currents. The springs of the sea. That's what I'm going to say.
Oceans contain freshwater springs. That's what that proves. I didn't see that in there at all.
There you go. The springs of the sea. It says it right there.
Yeah.
Springs that you can walk in.
Oh, this is an interesting one.
Okay.
Who hath measured the water? First of all, this is Isaiah 40:12.
Oh, okay.
Who hath measured the waters in the hollow of his hand, and meted out heaven with the span, and comprehended the dust of the earth in a measure, and weighed the mountains in scales, and the hills in a balance?
Who can take a rainbow measured in your hand? It's the metric system. Wait. It's meeting out things in your hand and then weighing the mountains. I got nothing.
Dust is important to survival.
What the fuck? They did not just say that.
Yeah.
That's
what it says. Dust is important to survival. Oh, here's one. Let's see if you can get this one.
Wait a minute. No, because I've got to get back to dust. How?
It doesn't say anything about dust, Dan. And it doesn't say anything about anything being important or essential to survival. They're relying on people not reading these.
What the hell?
They are absolutely. Look at this
okay,
list.
wait. You know what? I got it. You give me another one, I will know what it is.
Okay. This is from Ecclesiastes 1:7.
Okay.
Okay. All the rivers run into the sea, yet the sea is not full. Unto the place from whence the rivers come, thither they return again.
Okay. You know what this proves?
What?
Subatomic particles.
The water cycle.
Quarks. That's what this proves.
Okay.
As much as the last one proved the dust thing, I'm saying that one's subatomic particles.
Oh, I haven't read this one. This is Job 38:25.
Okay.
Who hath divided a water course for the overflowing of waters, or a way for the lightning of thunder?
The lightning of thunder,
Mm-hmm.
and dividing. It's electricity, because if you get a way for the lightning, then you can capture it. It's Doc Brown.
It apparently it's talking about the fact that lightning and thunder are related.
Those assholes. They're just assholes. This whole site, we're not doing anymore because they're just making me mad.
This one's good.
No, fine.
Okay. I almost said what it is.
I mean, who doesn't know that lightning and thunder are related?
I know, right?
That wasn't discovered like in the 1400s.
Well, my
that
guess
was
is
discovered in the year negative 4000.
Unfortunately, they don't say who the scientist was or anything enough to be able to like figure out exactly what they're talking about. Like, there's no. This thing is shoddily done.
Neanderthals
My
noticed
guess is
that.
It probably has to do with somebody like actually figuring out what the actual like speed of sound is.
Yeah. Okay. Fine.
Right.
That's what
That's
they're
the
claiming.
man's discovery of that. Would be my guess.
Ugh.
But like, it clearly everybody knew light and then thunder.
And then you wait for a second, and then it thunders.
Yeah.
And that happens.
And sometimes it was long, sometimes it was short, sometimes it was bright.
And if it seemed like it was really close to you, it happened a lot faster. And if it seemed like it was far away,
Right.
They all, monkeys know that.
Yeah.
All of the things know that.
Job 8:16. He is green before the sun, and his branch shooteth forth in his garden.
Photosynthesis.
Yeah.
All right, we're done. We are done with these people. If you want to tell us how to... by the way, I can scientifically prove the Bible.
Holy crap.
What was that? Oh, that was
it was a ghost.
it was a ghost. We had a ghost. I can scientifically prove the Bible.
You can?
Well, I can prove that it exists, which is all that they seem to be claiming with that verbiage. Anyway, if you want to prove something in the Bible to us, you can do so by writing to us, and that would be you go onto the your mail client of choice, and you start a new message, and you enter into the to field podcast at thankgodimatheist.com.
Or I guess you could pick up the telephonic device of your choice.
of choice.
And however one does this, whether it's touching a screen, pushing buttons,
Right.
or perhaps even dialing.
Right.
phone.
If you've got one of those dials.
If you're old school, our telephone number for our voicemail is 424-666-8442.
Right. Or you can just go onto the Facebook page, and we'll all just have a good time over there. That's facebook.com/TGIAtheist.
All right. We are going to take a quick break.
Fun break, and we'll play you some Fox News on the way out, and we'll come back.
This is Bill Hemmer. He has a claim about some stuff. They're talking about something completely unrelated.
They're talking about the Malaysian the Malaysian plane disappearing.
Yes. And then he takes it somewhere.
Yeah.
Transponder on at this time, so any accurate altitude indication is lost at that point. So what they're using is radar tracks that they have on tape, trying to triangulate them as best they can and determine approximately what altitude. But you can't take that for gospel.
So it took us, 100 years to find the Titanic? It took us 2,000 years to find Noah's Ark?
Yeah.
Do we ever find Flight 370?
Oh, I think we fly Flight 370 much sooner than those two things, thank God.
Well,
Wait, there's
a couple problems here.
Did you hear something thrown in the middle there? Feel like there was something thrown in right in the middle there.
He gets a lot of facts wrong.
And then there's Noah's Ark.
Yeah. And 2,000 years to find it?
Right.
Which, so apparently we found it because the Noah's Ark was about, supposedly, according to like Bible scholars,
Or
4,200 years ago, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
About 4,000, give or take.
Yeah. Okay. So around the time of Jesus, there were these archaeologists out.
We're like,
and
hey,
that's when they found the Ark.
I found the Ark. It's over here.
They probably would have had an easier time back then finding it.
Well, and convincing people that it's real, because the thing that he's probably referring to is basically a hoax that happened. I don't know when it started, but there's a place in Turkey that they're claiming is Noah's Ark.
Well, yeah, there's this like
up on Mount Ararat.
Yeah, this formation.
It's actually like rocks.
Yeah.
And there's some wood and some metal.
But
they say
what's amazing about it is that it's I love this. It's the biblical length of 515 feet, which I guess is the length that Noah's Ark was.
Oh.
Right, 515 feet long. And, you know, like, numbers like that can be hard to conceive. Like, how long is that? And then you see this photo and you see trees and you don't really see people, but you see, like, telephone poles, right? So you have a sense of, like, scale.
Uh-huh.
And you're like, holy shit, that's huge.
Oh, yeah.
Noah's Ark was supposedly huge.
Yeah, the thing was enormous. And as you pointed out when we were talking about this earlier, one man couldn't build that thing.
No.
That is far too big.
And that's when the Bible's pretty clear about that, right? That's just like him and his family.
It's just him. Yeah, it's not like he's got his buddies on because he'd have to let them on.
Oh,
you can't be a douche and be like, hey, I know you guys helped build the boat, but I can't let you on.
Yeah.
Have fun drowning.
Yeah.
Maybe you can swim for a little bit. Maybe that could be fun.
Yeah.
Well,
and who rounded up all the animals? So he built the thing and he rounded up all the animals?
Yeah, dude. That dude was busy.
He clearly had a lot of help.
Well, he lived hundreds of years.
Well, it would have taken hundreds of years.
Yeah. It would have.
For a lot of people.
Yeah.
To build the damn thing.
Absolutely. Snopes seems to think that this discovery of Noah's Ark might not be 100% true.
Oh, really? Snopes?
Yeah, but I think that they're just assholes. They're just being grumpy.
Well, the thing is clearly in the shape of a boat,
or it's
just some rocks.
It's just some rocks. It could be any number of things.
If you use your imagination,
which you have to do.
If you board,
Yeah, it's quite a claim. My father-in-law came to me with this claim at one point and was like, "Well, what do you think about that, Dan?" And I was, you look at him and well, seems unlikely to me.
Yeah,
but maybe you should I should have told him to go to Turkey.
You should have.
Go to Turkey, see if it's real. You check it out. Go check it out.
And report back.
And let's talk about it when you return. Upon your return, we will.
He would have gone to the chintzy little visitor center that's been put up
by the government.
Which is also proof that something important is
that it's real
here.
Because the government wouldn't put up a visitor center for a non-real Noah's Ark site, would they?
Never.
The Turkish government
visitors
that could smell the influx of tourist money.
Oh,
There's no way they would do that. Anyway,
but nonetheless, it's not going to take 2,000 years to find the plane.
That's what that guy says.
4,000 years to be more accurate.
Right. That's according to that dude. If you believe him,
it's going to be much quicker this time.
But ironically, it will be found near Mount Ararat in Turkey. Actually, I guess it could be, huh? Didn't they say that was possibly within the radius?
I don't think so.
I think so. All right. Anyway,
we're talking about. I don't
we've
know.
We've been emailed by some folks, so I will.
Let's hear the emails, Dan.
We could do some emails.
Well, this is very exciting.
Yeah.
Correspondence.
Correspondence
in this modern age.
Folks have done that. We had one guy actually leave a comment on the Facebook or on the webpage.
Oh, okay.
And it's an interesting thing, and I wanted to throw it at you because I don't think you've seen this, and just see what you think.
Okay.
Hello, Frank and Dan. Just had a thought to help you with your donations. Throw up a Bitcoin address on the site. You can also Twitter it and put it on the Facebook page. He says if we do this, he promises to donate.
Wow.
Yeah, he says he's seen this work really well many times. Can't promise that we'll make thousands of dollars within a few days, but it does happen fairly frequently.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know what to think of the Bitcoin.
Well, here's the deal with Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I actually don't really. I mean, I kind of don't know what to think about Bitcoin. I'm with you.
It's
but here's
a lot
the
of
deal.
people like it, but
He
it can
points
also
out-
it can also just disappear one day.
It can also just disappear. But if people want to share their fake, well, it's not fake, but it's their internet money with us, then why not? It's a good idea.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
And the stuff fluctuates like mad.
Right. So it
Like
could
if
be
we
worth
cashed out on the right day,
it could be worth a lot.
who knows? And I think it's down right now too, because that exchange in Tokyo or in Japan or wherever,
right,
went down.
Well, yeah, that's right.
And so there's some instability in the whole Bitcoin-y thing. If I don't fully understand it. I tried to, I read about it and I was like, I don't understand. They mine it?
Yeah, wait, what?
How are they mining
Somebody's just making it up.
No, but they have to work to mine it.
Yeah.
There's this whole thing where you need fast processors so you can mine. I don't understand. I don't. This is us in Twitter.
It's pretend.
It feels a little pretend.
It's pretend.
It
At some point, someone's going to catch on that it's well, someone did catch on, and he just had all of that pretend money on his servers and cashed it out for real money and said, oops, your pretend money's gone, and no one can sue him because he's not a bank because it's pretend. Didn't you hear about that?
No.
Yeah, a big server guy who's everybody keeps he's essentially like a Bitcoin bank.
Right.
And he just left with it.
He took the Bitcoins with him?
Yeah, he just cashed them all out.
Well, if he cashed them all out, somebody else would have bought them.
Right, but they weren't his. They were just in his thing. Or maybe he just shut it down. I think actually maybe he just shut it down. He had already made a lot of money doing it. And then he just shut it down and everybody just lost their Bitcoins. And he was just like, yeah, fuck it, I don't care.
I don't know that that's how. That's weird.
Anyway, there was a big controversy. I didn't read too much of it, so I could be wrong. You've thrown us into a tizzy over this Bitcoin thing. We're in an absolute tizzy.
I say if somebody wants to give us a Bitcoin, we'll take their Bitcoin.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
There you go.
If somebody wants to buy us a latte, I'll take the latte.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. That's the true thing. Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah. Yep, indeed. Bill wrote to us, hi, Frank, Dan. Last week you guys played a segment, Phyllis Schlafly.
Yes.
He puts in question mark. Yeah, yes. Lamenting our president's support of gays while at the same time claiming he's a practicing Muslim.
Mm-hmm.
That makes no sense. You can't be both. You can't be practicing Muslim and supporting gay rights, really?
Yeah.
That's a good point there,
That's
Bill.
a really good point.
Billy? That's,
picked up, yeah. And any time in the future that I hear somebody say this whole thing about, Obama being a Muslim, I'm going to be like, oh, yeah? He must be a really bad Muslim.
Yeah, because they don't like the gays.
They don't like the gays, and he certainly does.
He's on board with the queers. So
what's going on here?
Yeah.
With you, sir?
Dear sir.
I think you're being a little disingenuous.
I challenge you. Take off my glove and throw it at your feet.
I think you're repeating a rumor that you heard and that you didn't think through thoroughly.
Or a couple of them. You're combining your rumors badly.
Thank you.
We also heard from Don, who wanted to...
Donald Don is his name?
Yes, Donald Don. His name is Donald D. Don.
Donald D. Don. I want to meet this guy.
If that were a real name, that'd be a great name. First of all, it sounds funny. Donald D. Don.
Donald D. Don.
Donald D. Don. That's a good one. Anyway, that's not his name.
So I'm guessing that his name is Don, but he goes by, or Donald, but he goes by Don.
It would seem that way.
Okay.
I got the Donald from the from line on the email, and then at the bottom it's signed Don. So I adjusted.
Okay. There we go.
Sorry, Don. Donald D. Don. He says a few weeks ago we were talking about a news story involving a pharmacist who wouldn't fill a prescription and got fired over it. You remember that?
Yeah, I do.
He says I was a teaching assistant for pharmacy law. This type of story made the news every year. The best one involved a pharmacist tearing up the prescription in front of the woman.
Dear God.
Yeah.
That's just rude. She should be allowed to at least go to another pharmacy.
Right, exactly. That's just crazy is what it is. It's more than rude. You've gone well past rude. If you're a pharmacist and you can't even handle the idea of the pill, well, no, not for you, Missy. You're going to have that kid. God damn it. Anyway.
Dick.
Yeah. He said, so Don says, you got to remember a few things about the situation. 1, by law, a pharmacist must refuse to fill a prescription which would be dangerous to the patient.
Oh, yeah. Well,
So, for instance, if the dose the doctor wrote would be deadly, this law kicks in.
Right.
But they should also remember that any pharmacy company can fire you tomorrow for any reason.
Okay, sure.
So if you invoke Rule 1, you don't get to act surprised if the company invokes Rule 2.
So if your argument is that you're refusing because the danger is a
spiritual one,
right?
This is really bad for your spirit,
for your eternal salvation,
for sure. This is
if that's what your argument is, then okay, then number 2 kicks in,
right?
And well, if
off you go,
if your boss doesn't agree with you,
right?
Okay,
shoo. At that point,
that's an all right, cool.
Shoo. Yeah. And we have a voicemail, don't we?
We do have a voicemail.
Let's do one of those things.
Let me see. Where did I put said voicemail? Okay. Yeah, this is one. Does this one need a setup? I don't think it.
No, just
really
go ahead.
Need a setup.
Hey, Frank and Dan, this is Tom, calling from Colorado, but I'm actually driving a moving truck to California right now. And at 3 a.m. in Reno, I'm listening to show 117, where you give drug advice to a listener named Nicholas. And at first, I was a little bit shocked and wary of what you might say, and it turned out it was brilliant. Perfect. I couldn't have been better. Cautious, respectful, sensible. Stuff I wish I had heard when I was 17 and pissed away a year of my life. It was excellent advice. I'm sure you didn't pass it past the TJIA lawyer, but excellent advice nonetheless. Let me know if you need a character reference at your parole hearing. Love your show so much. You guys are great.
Huh.
There you go.
Well, awesome.
Well, what you don't know... Well, what you don't know, Tom, is that we do have a legal team here at TJIA. They are puppets, so it's not,
They say what we want them to say.
They give us the answer we want most of the time, but they're there. And I'm glad that you approved of how we talked about drugs. We were nervous about it.
Yeah, well, it's a dicey subject.
But we didn't. But the thing is,
we never said, "Hey, yeah, do it, kid."
But we don't want to be bullshit either.
Right.
90% of how grown-ups talk about drugs is just lying.
Right.
I'm not a fan of lying.
Yeah. No, that's not nice.
There you go.
Not nice at all, Dan.
And Bobby wrote in. I'm going to do one more email.
Oh, okay.
Bobby wrote in, said, had a question for us. Just graduated from BYU. BYU Provo. He makes that designation.
Well, it's a thing now.
Yeah, I guess.
Because there's BYU Idaho.
Yeah.
And BYU Hawaii.
And, yeah, exactly. Hawaii. In December, and we'll be moving down to Charleston, South Carolina for a new job.
Oh, hey.
Congratulations on your job.
Yeah.
He says, while I have gleefully left Mormonism and will be happy to move away from Mormontown, USA, Mormonism still has its hooks in my wife. Luckily, our marriage is great, and we are working things out. While my wife is still trying to figure things out, she still goes to church. That's totally fine for me, except we have 2 young boys, and the eldest, 4, likes to go too. We have agreed to let the kids decide whether they go or not, and my eldest goes because he loves being around other people, which is great. And there's lots of kids singing for the kids and whatnot. So
I didn't mind church when I was a little kid.
Yeah, I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
Except sacrament meetings is just a bore. But then, if you got
mind that part.
If you got a good mom, she'll bring some Cheerios and she'll bring some things color and whatever.
Yeah.
We have agreed to let the kids decide whether they go or not. Oh, I already read that part. Where am I? I lost my place when I started rambling. My concern is that while he goes to primary and whatnot, he is getting some messages that I obviously do not agree with. So I think you guys have touched on this in the past, and I agree that the child is developing, learning new things and information. Throwing in garbage is disconcerting. However, we do teach him about Santa, the Easter Bunny, etc. So should I just relax and wait until he gets old enough to recognize that Santa isn't real and use that as an opportunity to say that some people choose to believe in God and some don't, etc.? Are we, as a people, doing a disservice to ourselves and our progeny by believing in Santa? Or is it all part of the process we go through as humans trying to sit through harmless belief and malicious woo-woo? Well, Bobby,
There's a few things in there.
there are a few things. We've talked about some of this.
Yeah, we have.
We've
never really talked about Santa, though.
No, we haven't. We haven't. And the thing, and it brings up a good point, which is that technically you're lying to your child.
Yeah.
But you know what? You're
Here's the deal,
supposed to
though.
lie to your child.
Yeah.
That's
but,
just fun.
Here's the deal. And I've always liked the way that my parents, surprisingly, I've always like, this is weird. I approve of a way that my parents handled something. That's terrible. No, the way they handled Santa I thought was really nice.
Which was what?
And the same way with the Easter Bunny, which was like, they did all the playing around with it, but there was never any lying about it. So when like questions were asked, it's like, oh yeah, no.
Huh.
There was never like, well, yeah, Santa. There was never trying to coax me any further than my mind wanted to be.
Sure.
And so when I was really little, oh, Santa, and it's exciting, it's fun.
Right.
But then like, as soon as like I'm old enough to be like, that's just a guy in a suit, right? Which was like at 3.
Right.
It was probably 3-ish. My mom was like, yeah, that's just Santa. That's just the guy.
That's just who
dressed
that
up
is.
in his thing.
Right.
And it's like,
in part because we used to have shitty mall Santas. Now all the mall Santas are kind of amazing. They all have real beards. The malls find these guys. I don't know where they find them. There's entire associations of real beard Santas.
Really?
Oh yeah.
That's kind of weird.
There's a whole This American Life about competing associations of real beard Santas. It's hilarious. Anyway, that's an interesting way of doing it. I have no problem lying to your kids about Santa and the Easter Bunny just because it's fun.
Here's the deal. I would never lie about the Easter Bunny. No. I don't want to have Easter in my life.
Really?
No, dear God, no. I don't need, like,
it's candy,
have some candy, kid.
Coloring the eggs.
It's
and stuff.
spring, have some candy. Sure, great. But the whole, like, nothing about Easter ever appeals to me, ever. No.
As a kid, you didn't want to go, like, hunting for candy and eggs and
Maybe
things?
once.
I thought it was fun.
I remember once.
It seems fun to me. Anyway, I have no problem with any of it.
Maybe I was just an awful child.
You were
I'm kind of having a realization.
Grumpy Gus of a kid.
I was grumpy. I didn't believe things, and I was grumpy.
You were just standing in the corner, like, with a frown on your face. These idiots. I can't believe this is stupid. Oh, my God. Do they really buy into this shit? This is nonsense. I'm going on strike.
If they want me to believe this, then they're going to have to do better than hiding the eggs that we painted yesterday.
Right.
And telling me that the Easter Bunny did it.
Yeah.
They're going to have to try a little harder than that if you want me to believe in this.
I colored this. This has my name on it.
I remember, actually, this is a very distinct memory. And I was probably I was probably about 3. I remember being told that the Easter Bunny was out hiding eggs. And I'm like, well, who's the Easter Bunny? And they're like, well, it's just, it's this rabbit, and he comes around and I was just like, I was creeped out. I remember just being bothered. I was like, there's like some stranger rabbit in our backyard hiding eggs? That doesn't make any sense.
What are you people doing? What have you agreed to? What have you gotten our family into?
And they were surprised when they found out I didn't believe in God.
Right. Yeah. There you go. So, Bobby, I would say, here's what I would say. This is just one man's thought on the thing. But with the God and the going to church and the whatnot, I ask him questions.
Yeah.
See if you can get him talking, because that's always good. And then if he has questions for you, here's the thing. I think you and your wife need to make a deal. You need to understand where each other stands on what's okay to say to the kid and what's not okay to say to the kid.
Yeah.
I think both of you need to agree how not to indoctrinate the kid into your own thing. What you need to teach the kid is that mommy believes some things and daddy believes different things, and not everybody believes the same thing. And if you let that be the basis for your child's upbringing, that in terms of beliefs, that not everybody believes the same thing, and that it's okay, and that nobody's going to hell,
right?
Then you're going to be okay. Yeah. And probably he'll just come over to your side later on.
At a certain point,
he'll just...
church sucks.
Church sucks. And you can just say, so does that sound smart to you? Does that sound like it's real?
And just always have the best things going on Sunday morning.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's the other thing. Yeah. Okay, bye. We'll just be here making fun pancakes.
Yeah.
I'm going to make, Mickey Mouse style pancakes, but you guys have fun at church.
Take up fishing.
You're so
mean. Go for bicycle rides.
You're totally mean.
Come on.
I love it.
Fair is fair.
That's right. Yeah, there you go. Who knows? There's no one right way to raise a child. There's just a million wrong ways to do it.
Yeah. So definitely don't listen to our wrong ways.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, boy. So there was a death in the American landscape recently. Was it today? It was today or yesterday?
I don't know. To be honest.
Oh, and we don't even have the same today because we're recording early.
That's true. We are recording on Thursday.
Normally we record on Friday.
It'll probably...
So it was like yesterday or the day before. Or even earlier, depending on when you're listening. Anyway, he's dead.
Or on which side of the international date line.
God damn it. Okay, so if you don't remember
Fred Phelps?
If you don't remember Fred Phelps, here's what you got. You got this fella. He's the leader of a very small Baptist church in Topeka, Kansas.
Westboro Baptist.
Do you remember going there? We went there. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
He founded this church. He was a pastor. He didn't really take off the way he had intended it to. Mostly it was just his family members.
Right.
But these are the guys that they decided that that it was so important not to be okay with gay people that they were going to start picketing funerals that had nothing to do with gayness.
Well, remember they were like anti-gay picketing for a long time.
Oh
right?
yeah.
And the whole Matthew Shepard thing.
Before it was cool.
But like they showed up to Matthew Shepard's funeral.
They did.
Right, with their horrible, hateful signs.
That was in like 94 or something.
98.
Oh, okay.
And I know that because of that guy who's in the NBA who has the number on his back now.
Oh, right.
I'm such a sports fan. That's how I put it.
Right. You follow all of the gay sportsmen.
I do.
Except
all the professional gay sports. I don't even know his name.
Right.
I heard something on NPR.
Yes.
That's how, and I was like, oh, he had the number 98 for the year Matthew Shepard died.
That's right.
So,
anyway, Fred Phelps, yes, so they would go and they would picket. During the Iraq War, they would go and picket the soldiers' funerals.
Yeah.
Claiming, by the way, and this is a pretty circuitous way to get to picketing a soldier's funeral. Their claim was that the war was caused by Americans being more accepting of queers because that was what inspired the 9/11 attacks against us, and therefore that's why we're in the war. So the soldiers are dying because of the fags.
It makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense, and so they invented the God hates fags thing. They loved to talk about who God hated.
Yeah.
So that set them apart. Usually you hear about who God
loves.
Who God loves,
God
and then
is
you also hear a whole bunch of rules that are God's. But this was
God loves rules.
God loves rules, and God hates fags. So these guys,
because he loves rules.
Because of rules. Because rules, you guys. So, kind of these guys were universally hated.
Yeah.
Even by other Christians, even by other people who didn't like the queers. These guys were not exactly heroes.
These guys were going around making a bad name for fag hating.
For fag hating. They were indeed. Nobody likes someone who disrupts a funeral of a soldier.
You know what? Nobody likes anybody who disrupts a funeral of anybody.
Right. You don't.
Funerals are off limits, or should be, to picketers. I'm sorry, I don't care who it is that just died.
Right.
Maybe Adolf Hitler.
Yeah, Hitler. You can
dance on his grave.
And dancing on the grave's another thing. That's at least after the family's left.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that Phelps's grave will have some pilgrimages unto it.
I wonder if it'll be undisclosed
or on the premises of the church property
behind the big giant gate,
right next to the swing set, or something.
Right by the basketball court.
Oh, okay.
Wasn't there a basketball court?
Can you guys tell we've been to there?
We've been there.
We've totally been there. we were
in Topeka
last year on our road trip through the South. Yeah. We that was our final stop. It was Topeka, Kansas,
and then it was 20 hours of driving.
Oh my God, that was a nightmare. It's the worst drive ever. Driving through Kansas. Kansas, you're killing me, Kansas.
Yeah, it's
you're
rough.
Killing me.
It's rough. Excuse me, East Colorado.
Yeah, also them.
Also awful.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
You can't, there's no difference.
Yeah,
it's
gross.
just, it goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. Anyway, so Phelpsy Phelps passed away. And of course, since he was such a lightning rod, everybody's been commenting on it and tweeting about it and saying, their analysis of his legacy. I thought we should talk about that too.
Yeah. How do we want to approach this, Dan?
I don't know.
Because the thing is,
why don't you give us the gay perspective, Frank? Or rather, a gay perspective, since you don't represent all of the gay people in the
perspective?
world. Yeah.
I'll give you my gay perspective.
Good, because you're gay.
My gay perspective is that I think he's was a vile human being.
Yeah. He wasn't very good at humaning. I'll give you that.
But I do think that people like Fred Phelps, as much as distasteful as they are, and as horrid the things that they say can be, I do think that there is what I see happening is that you have moderates, you have people who may not know how to feel about a topic, right? People who are still sitting on the fence. And I think people like Fred Phelps push them to the other side of the fence.
Right.
I think that there's this whole thing of clearly people on the religious right totally want to make sure that the distance between them and Fred Phelps is clearly understood.
Right.
Well, Fred Phelps doesn't really believe that much that a lot of these folks, don't believe.
Yeah.
Right? They actually believe a lot of the same stuff.
It kind of lines up.
It's just he was willing to verbalize it, and he was willing to show up.
And he took it to a place that none of them would be willing to take it to.
Never. Right. And so I think that helps those people seem more fringe.
Right.
The ones that are willing to continue staying where they are.
Right.
And I think that those that aren't willing to stay there make sure that everybody understands how far they've moved from that position because of how hateful and vile it clearly is playing to everybody.
Right.
And so I the fact that he was there, all right.
Yeah,
cool. He was probably helping our cause. I personally think that people like Fred Phelps inadvertently help the cause.
I agree with you.
They don't attract anything. They don't attract people to them.
No, it's not like anyone was joining Westboro Baptist. Even if they wanted to, if you're not a Phelps, you're not in, really.
Right.
It's just so yeah, I think largely his legacy was to like sort of show the world how big a dick you are if you hate gays that much.
Yeah. That
was the main thing.
I have a feeling that Fred Phelps did not read The Secret. And
no, there's no person in the world that didn't put his energy out into the universe as much as Fred Phelps did. I think,
but it's the law of attraction, right?
Okay.
No. I mean, that's the whole point. You get what you put out. That's the theory, right?
Well,
so if you're putting out a lot of good and generosity and like all of that, then the theory is that's what you're going to have in your life. But I kind of buy it, not on the woo-woo sort of level, but I kind of think that if you're a good person, you do good things, you're going to have good people in your life.
Yeah, people are going to like you. They're going to want to do good things for you.
And then when shit hits the fan somehow in your life, you get sick, you get ill, there's people around who are going to be willing to give back to you because you gave so much, right?
Well, I'm going to point out
But when you're Fred Phelps and all you spill out into the world is vile hatred, right? And just venomous, angry words to the world,
sure,
right? And doing things that just piss people off, people dance on your grave.
Yeah.
People are happy that you're gone.
Yeah.
People don't help you in your final hours.
Well, I mean, he was in the hospital. They were helping him.
Well, because they have to.
Right. I'm just saying, you're right. He put hatred out into the world and got plenty of hatred back.
Right.
Which he loved. Got a kick out of it.
Maybe.
It was clear.
Yeah. He got attention.
And he made it to the Supreme Court. When people were suing him to make him stop going to people's
well, they were all lawyers,
funerals,
right? All the Phelps. Weren't there a lot of lawyers in the family?
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
I think there was something like that. Like a couple of the kids were lawyers. Mm-hmm. I think he was a lawyer, wasn't he?
Maybe.
Before we go any further,
you're going to look it up
on the record. Yeah, I'm going to do Fred Phelps lawyer.
The Phelpsians, they galvanized I thought the Onion article headline was probably the funniest treatment of Fred Phelps, which just said something along the lines of man who clearly stopped gay marriage from happening, or who stopped the tide of gay oppression dies, or something like that.
Huh.
Because he didn't.
Right.
Because it didn't work, Freddie boy. You failed.
He was a disbarred lawyer.
Oh dear.
I don't know why he was disbarred, but he was a lawyer.
Okay. Well, there you go. When we were in Kansas and we were there in front, sort of at his church, he was, I think, off. They were all off picketing do you remember there was that horrible tornado in Oklahoma City?
Yeah.
And they were going to go and make sure that everybody felt really bad at the funerals there.
Yeah.
And so they weren't there, but we went and looked, and their marquee said "God hates fags." Right? And by the way, you guys should know that the Westboro part of Topeka, Kansas, is lovely.
Oh, it's a cute part of town.
Really adorable little suburb there, or not suburb, but a little neighborhood. It's adorable. So it is fascinating to see like that kind of blatant hate speech just proudly waving in the wind in this cute little neighborhood.
Okay, here is what makes Fred Phelps crazy town.
Okay.
He was a civil rights lawyer.
Oh my God, that's right.
He took cases on behalf of African American clients, alleging racial discrimination by school systems and a predominantly Black American Legion post, which had been raided by police allegedly on racial grounds, so forth and so on. He actually, in the 1980s, Phelps received awards from the Greater Kansas City chapter of Blacks in Government and the Bonner Springs branch of the NAACP.
It's amazing.
For his work on behalf of black clients.
So stick that in your pipe and smoke it.
Yeah.
Doesn't that just bake your noodle? Like, he was all about, like, tolerance and understanding in one way.
Yeah. But it had its limit.
By the way, we've been to Bonner Springs, too.
We have.
Just going to point that out.
Well, we've been everywhere.
Not everywhere. I'm feeling another trip coming on.
Another us trip?
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to.
Another TGIA venture. Anyway.
A shorter one this time.
Yes.
It was
long.
We sacrificed for our listeners.
We did, but it was fun.
And it was fun.
It was great to meet.
But it was a long trip.
Anywho, we the Phelps is I'm glad he's dead. I mean, there's nothing he's not he was done.
Does it feel weird to say that?
No, I don't give a shit. I mean, a lot of people have like issues with that. I don't care. Frankly,
I'm glad he's dead.
He had nothing more to offer.
I'm
society.
glad that he died as an old man. I'm glad about that. There's no martyring or anything like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's
you
definitely
mean
the
like,
kind of figure you don't want to become like
to have been shot by someone.
Exactly. Yeah. You want him to just die as an old man somewhere.
Right. Sort of just fade out.
Yeah.
With a whimper, not with a bang. I don't know. I mean, I just don't care about him. He's a horrible person. He was obviously a horrible person. But other than the people, I feel bad for the people who the families of the funerals that they picketed.
Yeah.
Other than that, they're just a sideshow.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're just a circus.
The United Kingdom had him on a list of people unwelcome in the UK.
Okay. Wow. It probably takes something to get on that list. I'm guessing that's not the easiest list to get on. Because the UK, while they have rules, they're also quite polite.
Yes.
And it just seems like that. Oh, I'm afraid we're not. You're uninvited from our country. One hates to be rude, but I'm sorry. I'm afraid we're going to have to revoke your visa. You'll have to go back.
Well, he didn't even get in.
Right.
There was an announced protest. They tried to enter. Well, I guess before they tried to enter, they were just told you will not be allowed in.
Yeah, just FYI,
you will be stopped at the border. And you will not be allowed.
Don't buy the ticket.
Customs will stop you.
So there you go. Happy Fred Phelps' dead day, everybody.
Should be a national holiday.
No, we don't need to give him that much.
He's a horrible man died.
Yep. So don't mourn, and we'll leave it at that. I think.
Sure. We rambled long enough.
Yep.
About this. Hopefully we said something in there. Did we say anything?
No.
Did we have a point?
I mean, we said the thing about him helping the cause that he was railing against.
Yeah. Okay. That's.
I think that's a thing.
That's a thing.
So there you go. I wanted to.
Actually, there was one point that I did want to say.
Okay.
There was one thing.
Okay.
And because I saw this kind of occur in a couple different places of people saying, he's dead. Let's not talk about him. Let's not give him anything. And I think that's the wrong approach. And here's why. I think that you have to face these kind of people. And obviously their death is a moment when everybody is like focused on who this person was and what they meant in our society.
Right. And
I think it's important for us to know that, what the Fred Phelps of this world are.
Right.
And know that that's, and hopefully learn all the opposite lessons that we can, all the things he stood, against. Well, maybe not all of them, but I think the bad things that he was against, the good things that he was against,
right, we can now see as being good things, and we can.
I hope I lost my point in there somewhere.
That's okay. Here's what I wanted to say. Anyone who says, "Don't give him the time of day," don't he's not worth talking about, whatever, blah blah blah. You're exactly wrong, because he can't benefit from it now.
Right.
There's nothing that we can give him.
Right.
He doesn't gain anything now because of he's dead.
Right.
So talk about him. See what he means to you. I think it's also important to discuss the fact, by the way, that he had every right to hold up horrible signs, to make incendiary statements. Yeah. He had that right, and I'm glad that he had that right. I will defend that right, to make awful, awful statements. I make some sometimes. I don't mean to be awful. He meant to be awful, but I don't mean to. Anyway, there you go. I wanted to thank some donors.
Let's do.
I'm going to try and right now cause a separation in everyone's mind between Fred Phelps. That was what we were just talking about. And now we've
horrible human
stopped
being.
talking about him. And now we're talking about wonderful, very supportive humans.
And we appreciate you.
Whom we love. So thank you to Susan, who did a one-time donation. She said, your podcast is great. I love you guys. Thanks for the laughs at religion's expense.
Thanks, Susan.
Robert, who wrote us a very fun email, one that was way too long for us to read on the air and really didn't have a point that was useful to the air, but it was really fun to read. All about an experience he had when he was in Utah. Anyway, he bought a T-shirt and he gave us a donation. That was
fantastic. Thank you, Robert.
Super sweet. And it was fun reading your email. Gene is now a monthly subscriber. Also William, a monthly subscriber. We're not quite sure how you did what you did. We're still sorting that out. He's a monthly subscriber at a level that we don't offer. So,
but we appreciate it.
I'm not sure if he's hacked us and now is taking all of our money, or if he's actually giving us. Anyway, we appreciate your donation, William. And was it William? What did I just say? I clicked it away.
You said William.
Yeah, William. And also Lee. Thank you so much, everybody, for your contributions. Absolutely. If you would like to help us do this show and do it better and better, you can also contribute to us. The place to do that is to go onto the interwebs, type in thankgodimatheist.com, and find the support button on the right-hand side.
Yeah, it is very helpful, and we do appreciate it.
It's vital.
So thank you.
It's vital to our continuance of this program.
Well, it pays for the hosting, and it pays for this website that we're trying to get up.
Eventually, it'll happen.
It'll happen. It's happening.
So thank you, all of you guys, very much. Thanks also to Mackenzie for her work on the Facebook page.
Thank you, Mackenzie. And, of course, thank you to the Red Rock Hot Club for letting us use their music in all sorts of settings. But the one you hear at the beginning of the show and at the end, that's them.
The one that you're hearing right now.
Oh, that's true.
Even as we speak.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for all of that. And thank you guys for listening. We really appreciate it.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.